that government cannot simultaneously claim to have prepared for the floods and then be caught needing fresh maps and fresh presentations once disaster strikes. It cannot dismantle an existing waste management arrangement without a replacement and then point to clogged drains as a natural disaster rather than a policy failure. The people of Accra deserve a government that plans ahead, not one that manages crisis after they have already destroyed homes and livelihood. A call for parliamentary inquiry. We contend that given the scale of this failure, statement of regret and after the fact relief packages are not sufficient. The minority is calling on this House to establish a parliamentary committee specifically mandated to investigate the conduct of the Flood Preparedness Task Force and the relevant government ministries and agencies in the lead up to this disaster. That inquiry must establish what work, if any, the task force undertook since its establishment, what funds were allocated to it, and how they were spent, what specific mitigation measures were planned and implemented, and why none of this prevented or meaningfully reduced the impact of foreseeable seasonal flooding. Those found responsible for negligence or dereliction of duty must be held accountable. Pending the outcome of this inquiry, the minority demands that all members of the task force step aside from their roles. This is not a presumption of guilt. It is a basic standard accountability that any institution facing serious questions over its conduct should observe, so that the investigation can proceed without interference and so that those under scrutiny are not left to oversee the very response to a crisis their own inaction may have worsened. This House owes the people of Accra nothing less than a full and honest accounting of what went wrong and who was responsible. Now, a warning from history and the NDC has refused to heed. I repeat, a warning from history the NDC has refused to heed. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, Ghanaians do not need to be reminded twice of what happens when flooding in this city is met with government complacency. On the 9th of June 3rd, 2015, under an NDC administration with President John Dramani Mahama as its head, flood waters at Kwame Nkrumah Circle mixed with leaking fuel at a oil filling station and ignited, killing an estimated 150 people in one of the deadliest peacetime disasters in Ghana's history. A subsequent investigation found that the flooding itself was a remote cause and recommended urgent dredging and the silting of the Odo River and its tributaries to prevent a reoccurrence. Successive governments share responsibility for the slow pace of implementing those recommendations. But it is this NDC administration, having returned to office, promising a fresh start, and having specifically constituted a task force this year to prepare the capital for the rains, that bears responsibility for the renewed flooding in the very same Odo corridor, i.e. Adabraka, Odona, and the Kwame Nkrumah Circle enclave this week. Submit